Okay, so there's a handful of folks wanting more detail on this blind. I figured the easiest thing to do would to be just pop a little quick video on here and hopefully answer all the questions that have been asked already. So just early disclaimer, the concept for this blind is not my idea. I'm sure people have seen them before. I helped my brother-in-law put one on his Prodigy that he bought from Prodigy several years ago. Really simple concept. I enjoyed the blind. It worked well. It was easy to put up, easy to take down. When I did get to hunt with him, he's since sold the boat, and you know, somebody else is enjoying it now. But my buddy bought this boat to hunt and fish out of, so he wanted a blind that could come on and off. It's not like super easy to put on and off, I wouldn't think, but it's not. Well, let me rephrase that. It's on there. It's going to be easy to take off. I don't know exactly how hard it'll be to reconnect everything next fall when we get ready to hunt in it again after he's done fishing, but we'll burn that bridge when we get there. So a couple of things I did different than Prodigy. Maybe they've changed up a little bit. And in full disclosure, I called Prodigy to see if they would sell us a blind, and they weren't currently selling blinds. They had, I think they said there was an issue with the manufacturer of the ghillie suit material that they used, or the material on the outside, canvas or burlap rather. I don't remember exactly why, but I couldn't get their material, or I'd have just bought theirs and stuck it on this boat. But so what we used, we got a local fab shop. This is 1 3/4 aluminum tubing. It's what is that, 3/16, 1/8, 3/16, something like that. And it's just a simple stick of tubing. I got them to bend it on both ends. I had them cut it long, so I don't remember exactly. I think it's like 12'6" length. Whatever length fits your boat. It's been so long ago now, I don't remember what I told them. But what I did have them do was make this distance from here to here 3 feet all the way around. So I had 3 feet plus 12 feet plus 3 feet. And what that did was give me enough leeway to be able to trim as I needed. So I really just, I got my brackets and kind of played with it a little bit until I got it dialed in where I wanted it. I knew that I didn't want to come out much farther than the edge of the boat. It's a little bit, especially up here up front. In the back, it's basically right on the edge there. So it's in a pretty good spot. I think it's pretty safe as far as the hunting we do. We don't go jamming through timber around here. One of the things I considered with that, if we did get in a bad spot, these are pretty easily removable, and then just pick it up and set it on the inside of that rail there, and then you can see, you know, it's within the boat, so it's not that big a deal. And everything is still good to go, and you can just fire that pin back in one-handed. See if I can do it. Almost. There we go. So those pins, pretty simple. They're stainless steel pins, simple ball detent. So they're in and out pretty easy. The brackets are aluminum brackets, and I've got them bolted through the hole. I've got a pretty good size washer on the back side, so it's not going to do a whole bunch of pulling. It's not going to try to pull through the deck. I said the hole, I meant the deck. All the way around. So through through there. I was able to reach up under where the fuel tank is and reach in there and back those up. And then the same way on the back here, the brackets are just mounted right back here. I was able to reach up and actually put a washer on the back side of that and through bolt those. So they're solid. They're not just sheet metal screws or anything like that. That was one thing that I didn't want to cheap out on. So also, as you can see, as you're traveling, all your materials on the inside of the boat and on the inside of the blind as well. So this material is sunshade material. You see all the scraps laying around. We actually somehow or another, it's just from Amazon. I got a whole extra roll of it, so I don't know what we're gonna send that back to Amazon. They'll take anything back, I guess. But sunshade material, and then the North Mountain Gear, this ghillie netting, wetland grass. We wound up getting 8 of them. I think we've got 1 too many. I'm sure we'll tear something up, but they're 6 feet by 4.5 feet. I think they sell different sizes. We weren't really sure, honestly, what we needed, so we just bought some extra. We'll send it back if we don't need it. We'll probably wind up using it somewhere somehow. So let me pull this thing up real quick and give you guys an idea of how it works. And I don't even know. Let me see if I can find a place to stick you guys for just a second while I do that. Will that work? Yeah, let's try that. See if that works. Okay. So I should have showed you this earlier, but I just have in the sunshade material here where the fuel fill is. I had to cut out the spot anyways. Made a real good spot for my rope to go through underneath the rail, and that's how this thing is secured, so it's not going to come flopping up traveling down the road or going down the river. Same thing on this side, except there's no fuel fill. I just cut a hole in the sunshade so I could secure it, and then honestly it just pulls up. Got these clamps on the back side, same thing up front, and they just pull in to one another. I'll probably wind up painting them so they don't, hopefully they'll tarnish and whatnot. But that's really, the blind is up at this point. A little bit of work to go and get the netting sorted out. But this is, all this is I just left an extra loop on my cord here. What's holding it up is the sunshade material gets tight on both sides, so it can't come any closer toward itself. It's a little dark, but you see here, fuel fill there, and then I just left the spot here. And all this sunshade material, I used a hot knife to cut everything, just to keep it from fraying. Hopefully it'll keep it from ripping. Everywhere I had to penetrate, I used that hot knife so where I connected all the netting and everything. I was just able to zip through there real quick. Let me hop out and I'll show you how I connected the sunshade to the boat. And that's the other thing's kind of nice. So as long as one end of this thing is connected, it's not going anywhere. It's stuck on there pretty good. So I'll get you back to the normal look. I use this 8mm tubing. If any of you have ever put a screen on a screen door, or screen porch or anything like that, you are familiar with a spline and a spline roller. Essentially, it did the same thing here with the T-track and this material, but it's on there. It's stuck. It's in that T-track, the length of both sides. And my plan is just pull that spline out in the springtime when we're ready to go fishing, and there won't be any issues. Just pull the spline out, pop the pins out, the blind's off the boat, and ready to go fishing. We could wind up taking these brackets off. At least the ones in the front probably. We'll wind up pulling those off just so you're not tripping over them while you're fishing. We may just take all 4 of them off. I don't know. Burn that bridge when I get there, like I said. But essentially it's pretty easy, and I can do it from out here or do it from in there. Fold all this material out. It'll cover the boat here. I tell you what, let me step back in just so you can see it from that angle. So all this material folds down, and what I've got, my plan, I've got this extra piece that'll go over the motor, and then I've take these guys and my plan is to take, I think I'm gonna have to set you down for a second. Take these, just pinch those together, kind of like so, to keep the netting together. I did leave enough. The netting is gonna go down to about the water line. Honestly, I just based that off of what I saw on the boat from a little dirt from the river. So if it doesn't go all the way down to the water line, such is life, but the plan is for that to be the case. So again, I left enough to where if we want to, we can gather all this up. And then you don't have this just big old gaping black hole underneath. And I've got several of these to do this with, so you kind of get the idea. So you can cover up, throw your vegetation over. The plan with this obviously is have as little of this kind of thing showing as you can, so we'll be able to have it pretty close and be able to hunt out of it. And then with those things too, if you do have to jump up real quick and in a hurry, they're not like formally attached. They're just going to pull loose wherever they pull loose, and it's not that big a deal. We'll have a couple of kids with us. Me and my buddy both have a son that'll be hunting with us, so it's going to be nice to kind of corral them. That was the plan with this whole thing. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. As far as attaching the sunshade material to the railing, some self-tappers. See if you got enough light under here to see that. Just some self-tappers about every 6 inches. I folded the material. I got the rails where I wanted them, folded the material up, and kind of like twisted it like a motorcycle handle and tightened it up. and just ran self-tappers all along there. It took me a little, I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do down here. I didn't know if I was going to just end it and just let that be the end of it and leave these open. In the end, I wound up just kind of folding this stuff in. It's not all the way down because I didn't want to get in the way of the bracket. But, you know, I just folded everything in and zipped it up tight. So it's not going anywhere. It's on there. It's not zip tied on, I guess. You know, with a zip tie, you'll never be able to keep it super tight. It's always going to want to keep rolling back in the wrong direction. You'll be fighting with it constantly. I mean, it's not snare drum tight or anything crazy like that, but it's going to be enough to keep the wind off of us, keep the wind down, give a little durability to the netting. Literally all I did with the netting is everywhere there's a stitch, it's got stitch running through here, and it's got these elastic loops to put natural vegetation and stuff in. We just ran zip ties. There's just zip ties attaching this to the sunshade material, and that's really all it is. It's nothing fancy. I'm sure there's a better way. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts and ideas, ways I can make it better. My concern is with these attachment points. Eventually they're going to start tearing and ripping. I don't have a sewing machine. It would be pretty cool to be able to sew all this onto the sunshade material, but this is kind of what I had to work with, and I think it's going to work out. It'll last one season anyways, I bet. So that's it for the blind. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, I'll be happy to answer them. We'll be running the dog off of this step. Just have that one piece of material that'll go on the motor, and then this one, there's enough of it to kind of dangle out this way and kind of fashion a little doggy step. So that's pretty much it. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I had another video where I set it up and took it down. Takedown's essentially the same, but opposite. Fold this piece in, fold that piece in, flip the tops down, unsnap everything. It folds down, and then as I was explaining with those, you just run that cord through the opening here underneath the rail. So that's really what holds it down. It's just attached to this rail at that point, and then back on itself, and it clips. Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I like it a lot. I think it's going to turn out well. So we'll give her a run late October or mid-October, I guess. So thank y'all. Have a good one.